So we're heading to Arapahoe. We're heading to Arapahoe. I'm here with Liberty Freak TV.
Yeah.
Hi, Freedom Flight. Freedom Flight. Oh, all of a sudden everybody's popping in. Tony Silva, welcome to ModFest 2019.
Okay, so we're actually telling you to take Santa Fe up here?
I'm not taking Santa.
Because it's red on 25.
Oh, you might want to. We're here with Janet Matson. Janet Matson turns out is quite the problem for the Denver Downtown Business Partnership. We had no idea. Okay, maybe we had some idea.
With a little help from my friends, huh?
So now that we kind of got rid of everybody, you were just saying something before I went live about yesterday. You were saying, what were you saying?
Well, I was saying that yesterday, Eric Brandt was finally in his paper trolling, paper digging, super magical microscope, right? Finding out all their bullshit. Oh, what a great day it was yesterday. Oh my, what a day.
You have to focus to do that, right?
Oh, wow.
But once you get into it, it's like a drug.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh,
Because it never ends, right?
Yeah, especially when you find it, right?
Yeah.
And guess what?
They give you so many wonderful Easter eggs, right? So many wonderful little Easter eggs all over that.
So you know, there's two forms of evidence that they talk about in court. There's direct evidence.
And circumstantial evidence.
I saw the milkman deliver the milk. And then there's circumstantial evidence. I didn't see the milkman deliver the milk, but there were footprints in the snow to the door, and the empty milk bottles that I put out the night before have been replaced with full milk bottles. So one can logically conjecture that the milkman in fact came and delivered the milk. Yes, of course it could have been somebody else, but that would be very unreasonable. So yeah, there might be some doubt, but there's no reasonable doubt that the milkman actually came and delivered milk. Now, what about the milkman sleeping in your bed?
Well,
This happens, right?
Yeah,
Right? This happens.
quite often.
I would think it happens quite often.
there's a whole saying, right? Are you the milkman's child?
Right,
Or
exactly.
the postman's child?
So what I don't want to do is tell you exactly how I have this.
No, we're not.
But I am going to tell you
Free talk.
that when the milkman leaves his monogrammed panties in your bed, you know the milkman was in your bed. And I now have several pairs of monogrammed panties.
Not just one,
And they're stinky.
yeah, but there's many.
They're used. Yeah.
And they have their names written in the seam.
Oh,
Their full names.
you guys don't even know. Oh, they're fucked.
They're fucked.
The panties are in our possession.
Everybody who's ex-military, I can tell them all their underwears have their name written on them, right? You
So-
know exactly whose underwear they are.
You probably should have saved the dress, guys.
Well, we have the dress.
I do now, yeah.
It's all on video. The dress is made
Oh.
up of a 12 month span of videos that are each little piece, the sleeve,
And-
the slip, right? The whole
whole thing.
pattern is there.
And what I observed yesterday, Brian was actually watching me as I did this, right? Because he couldn't open.
Right.
And usually when you can't open a document,
That means it's good.
it's good, right? So nobody would put the effort into this, right? Well, except that it just so happens that
You're
Brian
lacking.
Loma has an Eric Brandt. And so,
Don't detail it too much.
Yeah.
so Eric Brandt, oh, yeah, I can think with that.
Yeah.
And it took me, maybe 120 seconds?
That 120 seconds of skills sent us on a combined effort of more than 20 hours already of recreating timelines, of looking at video, of timestamps, of the data, which is exactly what we thought it was.
And so what
Is
happened
now exactly what we think it
so
is.
what I've been telling you for months and months and months and months, which is that the Downtown Business Partnership actually does own the city and county of Denver and all their politicians. But what I observed was an otherwise drab piece of fabric suddenly magically get transformed into beautiful sparkling sequins.
It was
before
almost
my
like
eyes.
Cinderella.
Oh, it was fantastic.
It was like Cinderella and the birds, and they were taking all these like random pieces that were just around that nobody else cared about, and then making this beautiful dress for the fairy godmother to transform.
Right.
And you, Eric Brandt, were the fairy godmother.
I'm not sure what I think about that.
Well, you have the magical wand to show that all of this stuff is bibbidi bobbidi
okay.
boop. Put it
I
together.
just-
What have you got?
I was just concerned that you might be calling me a fag or something.
Well, I wouldn't state anything that was libelous, would I?
Well, it would have to be untrue to be libelous. But
He wasn't calling you that. He was just stating that if you were not, you were missing out on a perfect opportunity.
Right.
so what we also learned, though, and this is great, Brian is an equal opportunity abuser. He'll berate anybody in public. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
All
how
kinds of
old
innocent
or young
bystanders,
you
innocent
are.
or young, he harasses people equally.
Yes,
and
I-
I was very happy to hear that.
I am not biased.
Yeah.
Let's get a poll here.
Oh, a
how
poll.
many
Oh, we're
people
doing a
have?
poll.
How
I
many?
like polls.
How many people have put a one if you've actually ever seen a video with Brian either berating or cussing a police officer or cussing the police out?
Well, he spit on that
or
woman.
any of that.
Twice. I saw it.
And let's remember, it's not actually just the police that we're worried about here. This is how my faith-based street preaching impacts the young and old alike.
Well, yeah. So, here, I wanted to. I can't give away our hand right now because this is very high.
Oh, we're getting a lot of twos.
twos.
Yeah.
Oh, you did see Brian berate people.
No, they're saying they're not, that they don't see me do that. They see that I'm the
Oh, right,
calm one. For what they're saying. What they're saying is that Brian doesn't do it first. Brian
Never,
doesn't
yeah.
attack.
There might be one video out there or something. You know?
One video.
Yeah, the moment, but he never
So-
does that. He's always illogical.
Where's that sheet of paper I handed you?
Well, you can't show that.
I'm not going to
to
show it, but I'm going to read some
And
things
look
off
here,
of it.
and look here, Denver. You better stop thinking that we're just a bunch of motley misfucks. Okay?
We're not just motley misfucks. There's more to us than just being motley.
More
Okay?
than motley.
Remember, we're the American people, and we're coming for your ass legally. Here.
Well, thanks, Live Talk. And
Okay,
I'm going to start
so-
subscribing to people in the stream right now.
I'm going to
just so that they know that.
have to delete a line here.
Yes, we do have to delete that line. It's very intentional.
Okay, so we have this little corner bakery saga going on. And you will remember that I did a little Guzman series back in December. What I was telling,
Oh my God.
Oh my God!
Janet pops the prop.
Go everywhere with it.
Wait, say that again. That's the commercial.
I go everywhere with it.
That'll be a ringtone by the end of the game.
And don't forget that this officer, Sergeant Guzman,
Tony Guzman,
it has
father of a murderer.
father of a murderer,
That's right.
and that murderer is now a peace officer, a paid
School
government
resource officer. now.
counselor, yeah, for our youth,
He's
right?
not a counselor. He's a school resource officer.
Oh,
They're not
school
counselors.
resource officer,
They're
right.
dudes
Hold
with
on.
guns.
Well, my apologies. I thought they were putting counselors
No.
in schools, not
No
cops.
counselors.
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh shit.
That's how naive you are.
So we actually have video of this man slowing down his vehicle to pay attention to the sign.
So, this little corner bakery saga starts back in April.
Yes.
And
2018.
it's 2018. Yeah, sorry, April 2018. In September, they couldn't take it anymore and they began arresting people. In fact, there were 4 arrests within 2 days. And then there was, somebody accidentally discovered cockroaches, both living and dead, stuck to their menu in the window.
Oh, wait. Cockroaches. That's not approach.
Yes, but of course they said that was photoshopped in. And then the health report came out and they failed because of
Oh, yeah.
cockroaches
Fuck
and mice.
it.
Which the health report most probably came because of that, because it was
Right
after
after
the fact that he had found
Right.
the
Right.
Order of operations.
And they had 8 violations.
Yes.
8, and we had nothing to do with the health code violations. That really bothered them when we stood out there and said we had nothing to do with the 8 health code violations.
But it sure gave us great signs.
Oh, it did, and it turned a lot of people away, right?
Ooh, yeah.
So we have here 9 cases that coming up into Brian Loma's arrest in February, all associated with the Corner Bakery or speech. And you see a bunch of names on there. You'll recall that Guzman went fucking berserk on us. Right? When James Freeman was here, guys, that was a pivotal day. James Freeman was here, and Adolf Chavez Jr. went fucking berserk. The sergeants had to pull him off. And if you pay close attention to all this that's happening, we've been talking about Chavez, we've been talking about Guzman, but today the focus is on the monogrammed panties left in my bed by none other than Lieutenant Kenneth Chavez.
Oh, Chavez. Why is it that we
Chavez?
keep coming after
Which is
Chavez?
another Chavez, right? Not to be confused
Yeah.
with a big fat bastard
Yeah.
that yelled into a camera proudly.
I hate Eric Brandt, you get that?
Or the sheriff Chavez that I'm getting married to,
Oh yes, Melissa Chavez.
Melissa Chavez.
I had high hopes for her back in the day, but she failed. And not to be confused with Stephen Chavez
Of
of Gart Properties.
would that be Gart Properties?
Oh, Gart Properties.
Wait. Are the Chavezes spelled the same? I wonder if there's a relationship
They
there.
smell the same.
Because the lieutenant is a government official, a police officer,
Yeah.
who cannot solicit complaints from the
Well,
Well, we know all about that, right?
okay.
Kitchens.
Well, are you a big man? Come here, big man.
Ma'am, he can't violate my peace. He can't disturb my peace. But if you'd like to fill out anything, I'd be more than
happy to take your complaint.
Oh, and he was more than happy.
And God, what it was, like a millisecond before they came at you, a second or two.
Oh yeah, it was right there.
Like,
Yeah.
he said, "I'll sign." They just did
I just barely had enough
Yes,
time to say call Janet Matson.
198
So
Orchard.
it's saying Orchard, take
Yep.
Orchard.
Yep.
Oh,
Fucking shit.
Brake test.
Orchard.
Okay.
okay. So, that's those cases. Hold on, I gotta swap this around again.
Hold it
Then,
properly. Don't show that line.
and that's on the line.
All right. Our
So that list that I gave you brought us up to February 15th. February 15th is when Brian Loma so viciously, in a drunken stupor, attacked that poor woman, Felicia.
Felicia.
Yeah.
Oh, Felicia.
Spit all over her face twice. Big old loogie running down her face. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Held her down. She's going, "No!" Oozed across her face.
Ow.
And just,
I didn't see that.
you didn't see that?
No, I did not see that.
How could you not see that? It's all on the body camera.
It was so evident.
So here we have more cases after the February 15th event. And the reason why I've separated that list is
By the way, here's the assault
is critical.
link. I just posted
Oh,
it there for you guys. That's the video of me assaulting that woman.
Now, look at this. We have 21 new cases among us in Denver alone.
Because we were protesting
Yeah.
and advocating for an election item.
And guess whose monogrammed panties are attached to all of these cases?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Kenneth Chavez.
Oops.
Oops.
That's right.
Left.
So,
There is no sin hidden that will not be revealed.
I've been alleging to you guys for a long time that the Denver
Oh, no,
Pavilions,
you're going right. My bad.
which is Gart
No,
Properties,
I'm not doing right.
It's telling me to tell you to go right.
It's not right.
Okay. then it'll fix itself.
Yeah, I don't think it's right.
No, it's definitely not right. I'm wondering
I'm-
even about Orchard. To tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
it's right.
Okay.
So,
It says go that way.
I've been telling you that the Denver Pavilions, GART Property Management, and the Downtown Denver Business Partnership, you follow the money. Follow the money and you'll find the motive. Remember that the Downtown Denver Business Partnership is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's $50 billion a year in businesses that they were. It is a
Let me check to make
political
sure I have the right
lobbying
one.
group,
Jesus
It's
Christ.
not right.
and it's not unlike the mob. You will sign on to the protections of the mob, and nobody gets off the island alive.
I'm thinking I should get back on 25. No?
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll be fine.
Sorry.
These businesses like the Corner Bakery, Earl's Kitchen, etc. I almost feel sorry for them, actually, Janet.
No.
You don't?
I did at first when he first said, "Yeah, I'll sign whatever you want." And
Yeah,
then
I did.
fucking
And then he
no.
didn't.
Then he didn't. No,
Right.
you're a fucking piece of shit.
But what we now know is that he didn't sign the letter because the mob bosses wouldn't let him.
That's true.
And they literally threatened to destroy his life. And that's not even a stretch, right? We absolutely know that. And as a matter of fact, the evidence shows money is the motive, right? It's always the big motive, right? It's either money or women. And Chavez is a bitch, so this is about women too. So the money aspect is that we actually have evidence from the Corner Bakery itself that the protest caused a 40% reduction in business
On Sundays.
on Sundays.
It's got to be here.
That's a fucking business disaster. So how do you what do you do with that?
So you
Right?
got the right address now?
So here this poor guy already withdrew from the Downtown Denver Business Partnership. He told the mob, I ain't paying your fucking dues. I'm not paying for your protection, bag ass. Then he
Yes.
tells Janet he'll write the letter. Yeah, he agrees. He helps
It's
the
on the
whole
right
rest of this.
side of.
Yeah, I'll write the letter. He didn't write the letter.
So you got to take it's like a zigzag.
So he
up
stayed,
here.
and it got worse. And this poor man is literally being
At
driven
this
out of
light,
business.
take
40% on your
left.
Sunday revenue, that's a busy day for them. That's really hard to come up with. That's
the light.
really hard. What
This
happened
light?
there
At the light.
is that GART Properties threatened to cancel his lease if he signed that letter.
Are you
believe that?
speculating?
Oh, that's not speculation. I do have that evidence. They own the lease. They told him they weren't going to renew his lease if he signed that letter. So then you see this progression. Now Guzman is berserk because of Chavez, the belly bumper, and they must know everything about all of us. So when you look at this list here, what you're seeing are people that Guzman is following us around. He's using massive city resources. Dispatchers are desperate to find officers to go to calls for hours.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Rollover crash with pinned occupants, and she had nobody to go
Because they were on
because
us.
they were
concerned
following
about
us.
us.
Yeah,
they're
and Guzman-
concerned.
Yeah. So I published this Guzman series, right? Because I put it all together. I tell you guys, you got to analyze every fucking word, every word. And that's what I was doing yesterday, huh?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So what did they do? They said, "Oh my God, we have got to get Guzman out of there."
Right.
Guzman made them all look just as bad as they really are. I'm like, oh no, we gotta stop.
Yeah, because they were like their own little thug group, right? Like, I mean, they
He's out of control.
you would see him walk up and say and be like, "Go get you." You can see one of my videos with a cigarette when he gestures to Chavez, like,
Left.
"Go get him."
Yeah.
And then they just come in a certain, like thuggish kind of way, right?
They needed to know who was with
Not this one, the
us.
next one.
They needed to do something. They followed us. They stalked us
Not
for
this one, not
hours
this one.
to find any probable cause to get names and IDs.
And then when they did, they swarmed up on us like SWAT team.
Oh yeah, knocking people to the ground.
I mean, hit
oh, yeah.
the brake, you hear the little screech, and he'd be jumping out of his car at the same time, right? Like they did to
303, jumping out for a sheathed knife.
Yeah.
Because he had to have a tool for the bread.
So what they've done
hold
is
on.
that they have brought sledgehammers to a problem that could have easily been solved with a scalpel.
And his first comment was when he
So
jumped
the
out of
big
the car,
light
he
said,
said to
"Yes."
303, "You don't threaten one of my boys with that." with a weapon, and that's when I said, "Hey, no, he did not, you fucking liar," because he was saying that like stop resisting when the guy's not resisting.
Right, which they do. And then we all remember when Guzman did a felony-style stop on Janet Matson
Oh my
For
god.
no
because
front
her
tag.
front license plate was in the windshield instead of on the front bumper.
And let's make sure that we're clear on this, because what they did was they waited until they thought we were all separated,
That's right.
right? They waited until Janet was in the vehicle and on her way, perceiving that nobody would catch that,
Vulnerable.
right? Nobody would actually. She was exactly right, Abby. She was vulnerable to being alone and isolated with everybody in the vehicle.
Yeah.
And
And like an animal of prey.
I was on that shit. We pounced on that shit, right?
I'm so happy to see you. I'm fucking happy.
Right?
Which he illegally searched you.
Yes, he
Just
did.
because you were standing there with a camera. He
Oh, yeah,
walked over
he's
like 30, 40 feet. He was
Concerned for his safety.
Right.
You know, the
with
camera.
with multiple officers, and as a man who had been very familiar with who I was, so it's not like I'm a stranger to him.
You were certainly not a stranger to him.
Well,
Certainly
we
not.
know that now.
Because he personally arrested you in September.
Oh, that's right.
And,
Right.
and in addition to that, right, we know that in September they were already laying the groundwork for his probable cause to search me at that moment, because they were insinuating that
They needed a little bit more disturbance before they could arrest
What
you.
is it?
It's Potomac.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Just need a little bit more. Now, the problem is that so far, the only conviction that has come out of Corner Bakery progeny, I believe, was Wicked Twin 2 did a diversion for his smoking in public. Right. So they
Oh,
got
for a
his name.
cigarette.
Yeah.
For a cigarette.
For a cigarette.
Now, Eric, before when there was this big thing about jury nullification, and that just went to the Supreme Court,
I
right?
did, yeah.
You did some.
I read about that in one of my discoveries recently.
You did some low ball calculations to contemplate how much money that the city and county of Denver had invested in silencing the point of jury nullification and citizens' rights to educate potential jurors in a forum fauna, the sidewalk outside a courthouse.
Not flora and fauna. Open public forum.
Open.
Flora and fauna is animals
Forum?
and plants.
No, forum.
Yeah.
Open public forum.
Oh, an open. Well, it's
Flora is plants and fauna are animals.
okay.
And
Whatever.
it's very tasty, but
No, I was reading the Latin of this. Maybe I'm using the wrong words. So, anyway, the point being that you calculated a dollar amount that they had spent so far to silence you on the question of jury nullification.
well, yeah. So the jury nullification series of actions, we have some reasonable good estimates based on actual evidence and records that we pulled, and the dot landed somewhere between 8 and 12 million.
Okay. So, based on that, we now have a new set of panties that opens up this whole combination of efforts. To
You said a set of
silence-
panties, right?
Sets of panties.
Yeah, because Chavez has left many pairs of panties with his name on them in my bed. Yes.
So,
DNA. With,
Oh, yeah. And guess what? 99% chance that Chavez Jr. is the father.
and in that, we're going to be able to then examine how much money they're investing to silence us on the topic of human rights, like access to sanitary toilets and drinking water for all human beings.
the right to sit down.
And cockroaches.
Right? So understanding that my street preaching caused a significant, I'm not talking a 1% or 2% even, 5%. Somebody might say, well, if your protesting is having a 5% impact on business, that must
That's
be
a
pretty
really
damn
big deal.
good
You got to pay attention to that.
Right. But when you go into 10, 20% or more of an impact on a business, then you're having a real financial impact, and your message is getting out there and it's resonating with people. Right?
And you guys, you have to remember too that when you're analyzing all this shit, Guzman is a pawn. He's a nobody, right? He's
Right.
just a hired thug.
Oh, I thought.
And when they realized that Guzman was a serious problem, they had to change it. They changed their tactic. They got rid of Chavez. They got rid of Guzman. They put in Sanchez.
Play it out so that you can see how it all pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
And every one of these cases, 21 cases, are piecing together.
Right, not my 21 cases, but the group's Larimer Group, which runs the property inside the Union Station, which is your felony case.
Felony.
Felony case.
Yeah, because I'm the guy that's been sticking around when these guys were taken away. So now they figured that out. So now I'm being charged with a felony.
Right. So, and believe it or not, and this will all come out with the process, believe it or not, they actually wrote down their plan and they listed specifically targeted named individuals in that plan, and then they executed that plan.
Don't give away the secret.
Okay, so they published and then executed their plan, and they don't have a way out of it now. And all day, even right now, I'm just like, I'm just so excited. So you gotta look at all the little details, right? Because one of those was in non-human readable form, was a database output that showed linkage to a different case number.
Yeah.
Well, Brian had 12 or so cops at his Spittle incident,
It's right there with a.
but only
That's
3
right.
cops are showing on the
I
report.
know, right, where it's at.
All 3 cops published that their body-worn cameras were activated.
Oh, wait, are you talking about my
And
discovery?
yet, there is no body camera footage.
Oh,
Your lawyers do not have the time or resources to dig into these things like I do.
or I do.
You have to dig into your case.
That's right.
You do. How many times have you guys heard me say, get the incident details report?
Yeah.
Well, that's what this was.
No.
But instead of printing the incident details report, they outputted it in database format, in digital format. It was not human readable.
No.
It just so happens that I know how to open that kind of file. So when I open that file and I'm reading through that file, I'm like, oh, I just found all your body cameras. They put it on a different incident report. There was a separate incident report created when Eric Brandt and others poured out of the van A-Team style.
That video is the one I shared earlier, guys. Yes.
And the body camera that we're looking for in particular is the cop saying that Brian Loma wouldn't even be getting a ticket if Eric Brandt hadn't shown up.
Man, you can't give my case away.
I don't want to park right there.
Well, that's already knowledge that's published. But we're looking
okay.
for the body camera,
Where's the body camera?
right? Your lawyer didn't have the time to go through those details, did he?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't think he's even read the email yet where I told him that the body cameras were missing.
Right. Remember, these guys, for all the good intentions, are way overloaded, and they don't have time to do that.
That's why you have to own your own
You
case.
need to own your case. And I'm just reading, and I'm like, blah 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 blah. That's not the same incident report. They tag that as related. I'll bet that's where all the body cameras are. So I'm letting you guys know that Denver was just caught with their pants down. It's been a very exciting 2 days.
Yes.
It's been like a records-a-thon, and there's more records to analyze, and there's more records to get, and they done fucked with the wrong bits today. I do want to just tell you, I'm going to end this on this note. Brian Loma with Cut the Plastic was standing next to several commanders and lieutenants at the inauguration event when Lieutenant Chavez turns to the commanders and says that Karen Sidaro and the Occupy protesters went to sit up there. If they make any utterances, arrest them. And then without so much as a warning, he snuck up behind Karen and snatched her. You dumb fucking stupid bitch.
Wait, and he did it while leaving Galen Rose, former mayoral candidate, and myself sitting behind the chief of police,
Still protesting.
booing the mayor
Yeah.
without so much as a admonishment of our behaviors.
And Joe and Otto singing Ole 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 in the background through the whole thing.
happy
You hear on the mainstream media, police report. I mean,
The news.
news reports. And
The
everything.
news.
Yeah.
The 5 o'clock
Yeah.
news, the 4 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news, all had ole, 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 ole in the background. And you can't, if you don't know what it is, if you're not trained to pay attention to Eric Brandt and company, right? Because you're the leader
You
of
don't
this
have to be
disastrous
trained
group.
to pay attention. It's just that obvious.
Just obey.
Just obey. So here we are at Arapahoe. We have court this morning. I have a preliminary hearing this afternoon
Oh,
in Jeffco, which could very well result in the dismissal of that case. It's a pretty good case for dismissal. And the proof is always in the timestamps, you guys. Read the timestamps. The truth is in the timestamp.
so don't forget to go back and watch some of these videos, guys, and really start to see how the Corner Bakery saga connects to the protests. You know, Denver Homeless Out Loud says that our activities had a negative impact on the success of their election, right? Or the lack of success. And they're saying that you know, they got an unfair, listen, really, like the they fucking teamed the forces, the government, the businesses, and they teamed up together to beat an election. And they did it in such a way that the effective protesters were silenced.
Yeah, and remember, they spent literally millions of dollars.
Millions.
Michael Hancock is their multi-million-dollar puppet, right?
Just listen to his
How
speech.
much was his campaign? 1.5 million?
2 to 3 million.
2 to 3 million. Most expensive mayoral election by a long shot in Colorado history.
And the ballot initiative that they spent over $2 million to fight giving humans constitutional rights because they'd already taken them away, right?
Right. So the Downtown Denver Business Partnership created the urban camping ban, and then they had to silence the prominent voices that were opposing it, which would be Occupy Denver.
Well, in whole, is it Occupy Denver or is it Eric Brandt and his motley fool?
Well, you know, I'm getting confused because every time I read one of these documents about one of us, they identify us as the leader of Occupy Denver. So is it you? Is it Janet? Is it Karen? Is it me? Who is the leader of Occupy Denver?
I didn't think there was a leader on this horse. It's a carriage that just runs.
Oh, so actually they're the ones that are confused.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they should just listen to us.
If they listen to us, then they'd just obey, wouldn't they?
Oh, happy Fuck the Cops
Has
Day.
anybody wished you a happy fuck the cops day yet, man?
Happy Fuck the Cops Day.
Fuck the cops day.
So today's case is Abbott Irizarry. This is the Simone case.
Yes.
Here's another case where you need to analyze, get records early. The video that we have is not the same as the video that they provided us in Discovery.
Correct.
What does our video contain? Well, I told everybody where to go look. I said, look at this report. He modified this report to the facts to add
The
that,
segment that we got prior, this big,
Right.
of the court video.
and the part of the video that we have actually